2 years ago, during election season, I kept hearing the same phrase everywhere: democracy is the best system we have. Politicians said it, teachers said it, even people online repeated it like it was obvious. And for a while, I believed it too. But then I started wondering, is democracy actually that promising? Or have we just accepted it without questioning it? At its core, democracy is simple. People vote and the majority decides what happens. It sounds fair. Everyone gets a voice. No single person has absolute power. But that raises an uncomfortable question. What if the majority is wrong? Take a simple example. Imagine a classroom where students vote on whether exams should be removed completely. Most students would probably vote yes. Not because it's the best decision for their future, but because it's easier in the moment. Now scale that up to an entire country. People don't always vote based on what is logically best. They vote based on emotions, short-term benefits, influence, or even misinformation. So the outcome of democracy doesn't necessarily reflect truth or wisdom. It reflects what most people feel at a given moment. This brings us to a concept called the tyranny of the majority. It suggests that even if a system is democratic, the majority can still impose unfair decisions on minorities. For example, if 51% of people support a policy that harms the remaining 49%, democracy would still pass that decision. It is technically fair in process, but not necessarily fair in outcome. So, democracy protects equality in voting, but not always equality in impact. Now, think about how informed voters actually are. In theory, democracy assumes that people make rational, educated decisions, but in reality, most people don't have the time or energy to deeply understand every issue they voted on. Instead, they rely on headlines, social media, or what others around them believe. This creates a situation where public opinion can be easily influenced. If people's decisions can be shaped by narratives, then democracy becomes less about independent thinking and more about who controls the narrative. Let's take a modern example. You're scrolling through social media and see a political clip. It's edited, emotional, and designed to provoke a reaction. You form an opinion instantly. But you didn't see the full context. You didn't verify the information. Yet that opinion might still influence your vote. Now imagine millions of people doing the same thing. Democracy starts to look less like collective wisdom and more like collective reaction. There's also another issue: competence. In most areas of life, decisions are made by people with expertise. You wouldn't want an untrained person performing surgery or flying a plane. But in democracy, everyone's vote carries equal weight, regardless of their understanding of the issue. This creates a strange contradiction. The most important decisions affecting a country are made by aggregating opinions, not necessarily knowledge. Some philosophers have pointed this out. They argue that democracy values equality of voice over quality of decision making. That doesn't mean democracy is useless. It just means it may not be as reliable as we think when it comes to making the best decisions. Now, to be fair, democracy does have strengths. It prevents absolute power. It allows peaceful transitions. It gives people a sense of control over their future. But just because something is better than alternatives doesn't mean it is perfect or even good enough. So where does this leave us? If people are influenced, emotional, and sometimes uninformed, and if majority decisions can still be flawed, then democracy might not be the ideal system we imagine. It might just be the least flawed system we've managed to create so far. This leads to a bigger question. If democracy isn't as promising as we think, what would a better system even look like? A system driven by expertise, by AI, a mix of both? Or is the problem not the system itself, but the people within it? Just like with perception, maybe political systems aren't purely objective either. Maybe they reflect human limitations more than perfect logic. And if that's the case, then improving democracy isn't about changing the system. It's about improving how people think. Because in the end, a system is only as good as the minds that run it. Thanks for watching. If you like this, leave a like and subscribe for more. If you didn't, tell me what I can improve. I actually read the comments. Until then, stay curious.